Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today is going to be an experimental day. I wanted to do an underwater scenery today, so I got out all my bits and pieces that I thought that I would use. So I've got some turtles, a variety of shapes of fish, well, a couple of shapes of fish, a random dinosaur that wasn't going to be used in my underwater scenery, but it'll become clear in a moment why he's there, and some jellyfish. And I thought to myself, I don't want to have to use all of my fish and turtles in the space of one or two projects. I'm going to make my underwater scenery in these. There'll be a separate video when I come to do that. I have 5 turtles, so that's a maximum of 5 projects. I've got maybe 10 of these, and you'd need at least a couple in each. So I just didn't want to only be able to do a couple of underwater projects and then have to buy more of these. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do some mould making today. I am going to see whether you can make moulds with such tiny blanks. Now, obviously somebody can, somebody out there in the turtle and fish making world, but can a regular person at home do it? I'm hopeful. Most of these are flat backed. The turtles have got a flat belly, it's just that the head rises up. These fish be a bit more awkward, and dinosaurs got a flat underneath, so I've just thrown him in there because I'd like to make some multiple dinosaurs. So as you can see, I've got my basics already sorted. I've got some stuck on to some sticky back plastic facing upwards and then held down with electrical tape onto my silicone mat. Now I just need to build the housing and get my hot glue gun out, so I'll come back to you when I've built some housing. Okay, I did a bit of reorganising. What I realised was with the turtles in with the fish, in fact I might have to move him out, the turtles will need deeper silicone. The fish will only need it very thin, so I would have wanted to make a barrier between the turtles and the fish, so that I just, first of all, so that I don't waste a load of resin, a load of blank space above the fish. Sorry, not resin, silicone. A lot of wasted silicone, but also it makes the mould harder the thicker it is. I've got the turtles separate in that one, and now the dinosaur as well. So that also allowed me to get more blanks into there. I'm going to glue gun around the edge as well. So as I said, I've got sticky back plastic facing upwards, so these are hopefully sticking to the plastic, but I've repositioned them so many times I don't know how well they're going to stick. Oh, that was another thing. If I had to fill these deeper to get over the turtles, there's a more risk of them floating. With these fish, I decided to try standing them up. I think they're sort of flat on the bottom. No, they're not really, but let's just see how we go. I didn't have much faith in them working it anyway. Wanting to make sure that the hot glue doesn't come in contact with the fish, because otherwise that means that there's not going to be enough silicone surrounding the fish for the actual mould. I have glue gunned all around. I messed up a bit here. I'm left-handed, don't hold it against me. So it was really awkward glue gunning around here, and it was actually hurting my wrist. So I went a bit skew-if. If I try and cut that off, I'm going to end up peeling the whole chunk off. So I'm just going to leave it. If one jellyfish mould doesn't work, that's fine. I also messed up a tiny bit here, but because I don't want any of my fish to get wasted, I just tried to kind of push it away. So we'll see how that one turns out. All good around the turtles. I forgot to tell you as well, this mould making housing, this is 2 kits. So each kit comes with some of these and some. I got them off Temu, I haven't looked anywhere else at all. I am going to start trying to link products in my videos now. I'm not sure how easy it is to link anything on Temu, but if I see an Amazon equivalent, I'll pop that in the description. And but if there's anything at all that you want and I haven't linked, just ask. I can always add the link later. All of my turtles, jellyfish, fish, they all came from Temu. Okay, I'll come back to you when I have mixed up some silicone. Okay, I haven't finished mixing up my silicone yet, but I've brought you back to show you. I'll show you the box in a moment. But quite often silicones come with different colour part A and part B. That's so that you can easily see when it has been fully mixed. The colours have merged together. There's no streaks of one colour or the other. This one, it's both the same colour. So just a case of make sure you've mixed as long as you think you need to mix and then some. So when I've finished mixing this, I will pick up the box and show you which one it is. It's from Amazon. The only reason I bought it is because it says mix by volume or weight. I never have success with resins or silicones that are by weight because my scales always turn off mid measuring. So I only ever go for anything that's by volume, or like I say in this case, volume or weight. So that was the first thing. The second thing with this one is I found, in my opinion, it was quite cheap. Okay, so this is the box, the silicone. I can't fit it underneath very well. That's the brand name Limino 1:1 ratio volume or weight, 64 fluid ounce or 72 ounce. I think it was about £25. That was on Amazon. I shall look for it again, and if I can link it then I will. Right, I haven't unplugged my glue gun because I might need to do some repair jobs on the wall. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll start with the turtles. Do you know what? I've just realised, if they're floating, they'll never be covered, will they? So are they floating or are they just genuinely not covered yet? Genuinely not covered, okay. Yeah, now they are moving again. I don't mind if they move around sideways, it's just if they float, and then I'm just pouring more on, not realising that it's deep enough, they're just floating. I'll finish off this bit and leave it at that. I should have hot glued, shouldn't I? I should have hot glued the fish down, I mean. Do you know what? I think I will just leave them however they're comfortable. They're covered. Yeah, they are covered, so I'm just going to leave them however they have landed naturally. It's very bubbly, but I'm not concerned because I'm not selling my moulds. The only bubbles I would be concerned about would be any that are clinging to the actual pieces, which could mean then that there is a hole in the mould that will affect when I recast in the mould. I'm not bothered about just general micro bubbles throughout the silicone itself. I'm just going to sit and babysit these for a little while longer. I think if there were going to be any leakage, it would have happened by now with the first layer. But I will just watch for a little while longer and make absolutely sure. Alright, so I'll come back to you when these have fully cured and are ready to be unmoulded. Thank you. See you later. I've just brought you back for a moment just to show you. There is such a slow leak there. I'm pretty confident that that will just harden and seal itself back up. And I gave in. I figured if I'm going to have to sit and babysit this, I may as well do the other things that I wanted to do as well. So there you go. Look at video 3 if you want to know what that's all about. Yeah, okay, I'll definitely not come back to you now until these are ready for demould. And we're back, and it's been around 7 hours. I didn't say earlier, I don't think, that usually silicone is demoldable after 5 or 6 hours. Obviously depends on your temperatures in your room. You can see here we did get more leakage out of this one, but luckily it didn't leak enough that it uncovered the turtles' heads. With these, I did actually have one of these pop up, but the silicone was still quite liquidy at that point, so I just pushed it back down. And I think having some silicone then underneath it must have helped it to stick. I came back up again at some point, and 2 more had lifted up, so I pushed them back down. They've all stuck, so I'm hoping this has been quite successful. The only issue might be, hopefully the only issue might be with these fish. Okay, without further ado, let's get these demolded. The turtles' heads are underneath the surface. I'll just give them a little bit of a clean up. Right, let's see if we can pop this dinosaur out first. Oh, these pop out easy. I'm really happy with those. It's picked up the details of the shell really nicely. I might need to do little tiny bits of trimming up, such as here, but here is not over paw. I think that is where the paw, I don't know, the flipper actually starts to come away from the floor, so to speak. So if it was that way around, so I don't think that is actually over paw. I think that is actually supposed to be like that. There is obviously some definite overpaw here to be trimmed, but overall I'm pretty happy with them. And if they were going to go on a beach scenery or something, they would be most likely embedded under some sand. So yeah, really happy with them. Yeah, they just feel like there's still a bit of wetness to the silicone. My hands are feeling greasy. It doesn't really matter, but don't forget that there's some hot glue there. If you needed more flexibility to bend your mould, it popped out really easily, so I'm not concerned. Right, fishes. These ones are completely flat, so any overpaw on these is actual overpaw, not that the fish was supposed to disappear away from the surface. So these look like they will need a lot of trimming. It looks like a lot of silicone leaked underneath them. When I do cast in these, I won't be able to make them anywhere near as pretty as what these originals are. That's where the limits of my imagination. No imagination for colouring things and embellishing things, really. Actually having a hard time then with silicone wrapping around, so to speak. It's a shame I won't be able to have these textured details on the bottoms of these, but I guess it's the top that's more important. So I've just realised that in order to keep that shape, this gap here, we do need the raised bit of resin, silicone, like what we've got on this one. I didn't think about that when I was doing all that pulling, so I wonder whether I will have ruined some of them. At least I'll be mindful of that when I'm trimming them, and I can keep those shapes as best as I can. Okay, jellyfish. Huh, that's strange. One got turned upside down and floated up towards another. So it's actually in the middle of the silicone. Yeah. That's the one where the hot glue got close. But it might have just missed it. And another one that floated here. It's really strange how they moved like that, and I didn't notice them. So I'll just cut them out, I guess, later. Flappy fish. Some have stayed upright, some have turned sideways. But in terms of seeing any detail, I can't tell. So we shall just see how they turn out when we're casting them. All right then, so I am going to clean up my work surface, clean up those to put back to be used again, trim up all of this, and then I shall come back to you for us to do a casting in them. See you in a jiffy. Hey presto, we are back. And with the power of technology, you didn't know that I've slept since the last section. So I have already mixed up a little bit of resin, trimmed these up obviously. Haven't really trimmed these little fish up, I'm just going to just wing it with them, I guess. But I've trimmed these up as best I can, and the turtles, I don't think they needed much trimming. I don't want them to just be plain. I'm nowhere near going to decorate them the same way that the blanks are coloured, but I do want to put a little bit of colour in them, so I'm going to use these mica powders and just very quickly brush on a little bit of colour. With the turtles I want a different colour shell than the fins and head. With the fish, I'm probably just going to do them all one colour, so I probably won't brush on micas for them. I'll probably just colour the resin for those. But I think I'll use a copper, and the originals had kind of a whitish shell. No, I'm going to change my mind, I'll do brown, just the word brown. And my yellows are too bright. My white is too bright. Maybe I'll just brush head and fins, and for the shell colour maybe mix a bit of yellow and brown or something to make a dirty yellow. I'll time lapse this turtle and then I'll put you on pause while I do the rest. Right, that's all the turtle limbs and head painted. Let's just play about with how much of each colour to use. Bit of brown, bit of yellow. Because I've used mica powders, it's got that shimmery look. I think that was a mistake. Right, a bit of yellow. These all say transparent. Reverting to the oldest set I ever bought many years ago, and so I don't know if I'll be able to find them. Some of them are so transparent. I think I need to be more careful on the descriptions when I'm buying. Don't just see resin dye or resin pigment and think, oh yeah, I'll have that. This is getting warm. I should have painted the mould first, but I was keen to put down this video as much as possible and have resin mixed up before I started recording. That's turned green, hasn't it? Or is it? The main purpose of this was to see whether I could make successful moulds from those blanks. It would have been a bonus if I could have made them be nice colours to be able to use in my projects, but I can make them again anytime. I'm obviously not going to make a video every time I want some new turtles or new fish, unless I improve my techniques and it's video worthy. So just for the purpose of this video, being more about making the silicone, we'll just do this. Get these poured. And we may as well not waste resin, so let's use this one as well. tidy up around the edges to hopefully make less trimming required. I'm just going to do these a plain colour, my oldest pigments again. Okay, that is as much as I'm going to do for this section of the recording. As I said, I'll mix up a tiny bit more and fill these in off camera. So I shall see you, well, I'll see. Hopefully they'll be demoldable tonight after work, a rather warm day. Okay, so I shall see you when I see you. You'll see me in a jiffy. And we are back, and these are cured. So let's see. They are still a little bit bendy, but they're cured enough to demold. Oh, I will have to get the originals back out and see how good they compare. I'll just quickly whip these out. I didn't do so well with these. It didn't look like I was getting any resin actually into the shape. So it looked like it just pooled on the top. So I just stabbed it down a bit with a cocktail stick to see if it would get in there. Now, yeah, these are not come out good, but we'll have a closer look in a moment. Yeah, so all of the tails are missing. So they're no good. That's a shame, but not a surprise. So let's have a look here. They've come out pretty good. Yeah, it's just a shame I won't be able to make them as pretty as them. Or will I? They don't have to look like this one, do they? So I'm pretty pleased with that overall. The jellyfish, I'll bring it down. Yeah, they're not too bad. I think that one looks a bit strange, but if you didn't have that in next to others like that one to compare to, you wouldn't know necessarily that it looks like it's lost a couple of tentacles, would you? So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, Teddles. Oh, let's do little dinosaur. Ah, he's pretty cute. Yeah, I'm going to make more of him. Now that I've got two, well, I've got him and the original, and he looks pretty good. I could do another silicone mould setup with 2 dinosaurs in, and then I'll have 4, and then I can do another setup with 8, with the 4, which will produce 8. It might not be worth it. That's a lot of silicone to use, but maybe I could do another fish mould and have 2 blocks of fish moulds with a few of those dotted in between. Okay, and these have turned out really good as well. I'm not hating that colour after all. So there you go. Yeah, you can make silicone moulds out of very small. I mean, these aren't very small, but it was more the flatfish and the jellyfish that I was interested in, whether I could make a mould of. There's a few little holes in there actually, but it's not consistent, so it's not the mould, it's the bubbles in the resin. So yeah, it's just a shame now that I wouldn't be able to decorate these as nicely as I would want to, because decorating is my downfall. Well, one of my downfalls. I've got quite a few downfalls, to be honest. But there, yeah, there we go. I think I'm going to do a decorating random moulds video at some point. I've got loads of stuff like this that I've never actually decorated. So yeah, maybe I'll just do a random decorate a variety of projects video at some point. Okay, so thank you guys. I can now get on with making my underwater scenery. So stick around for that one. Thank you guys. Bye bye.